What's up YouTube, this is Harvey1997 here, coming at you today with a deck profile sent in from one of my subscribers. His name is Dan from Holland. If any of you guys have any other decks that you would like to see featured on my channel, feel free to send me an email. You can find that in the description box. Send me an email with your deck list, some reasons behind some things, all that fun stuff, and I'll try and do the same as I did for him. He also sent in the last one, the Yosenju Performapal deck. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get right into the deck profile. So, oh yeah, before I forget, I am trying out a new format for how to do my deck profiles. So, tell me in the comment section below what you guys think about this. So, anyway, we'll start off with the Metalfoes Monsters. We have 3 copies of Goldriver, 3 Volflame, 3 Steelen, 2 Silverd, and 1 Bismaugear. So, the reasons for these, Goldriver and Volflame, they're the 2 best ones. You gotta play 3 of each. The reason I'm playing 3 Steelen is because it's a painful decision target, and if you draw one of them, that would make painful decision unable to draw, search a 8 scale if you're only playing 2, so I'm playing 3. The only reason I'm playing 2 Silverd is because generally you'll want Goldriver before you want Silverd. And since we're already playing 3 Goldriver, you're probably going to use Painful Decision for Goldriver before you use Silverd anyway. But there's 2 of them just in case. And finally, I have 1 Bismaugear. I'm only playing 1 because it can't be searched off of Decision, but it is a really good card. It kind of sucks that it can't be Pendulum Summoned, but nonetheless, it's nice to have. Okay, so for the ABC monsters, this is pretty self-explanatory. We have 3 copies of A, 3 copies of B, and 3 copies of C. Yeah, that's it. I was trying out the gadgets in here, and I will admit, the gadgets are very interesting. At one point, I was playing 1-1 with them, because you can destroy a gadget, get a Metalfoes search, and then summon a gadget from deck. But I really didn't care for it a whole lot. I mean, it is really good when you could get it off, but more often than not, you really want to destroy one of your ABC monsters rather than a gadget. And as for making rank 4 plays, you typically do that after a Pendulum Summon. So you don't have to rely so heavily on having Photon Thrasher or a gadget or something like that to make a rank 4, because you can, you destroy your ABC stuff to get more plays going. And yeah, you can also do really fun plays like summon A or B, then use Union Hangar to equip a C to it from the deck, destroy C with a Metalfoes, and then special A or B from your hand, and there you go, rank 4 before the Pendulum Summon. Okay, so for the last of the monsters, the Majespecters. I'm playing 1 copy of Kirin and 2 copies of Bunbuku. This was a larger engine originally. I was trying out a couple of copies of Fox and Ogama as well, but it really didn't, I don't know, it didn't flow too well. I'm not really a fan of too many traps in this deck, to be honest. So, I mean, they're okay, but I think keeping it with just Kirin and Bunbuku is fine, because Kirin is just so good. And, Bunbuku gets you more searches, so there's that. For the spells, we have 1 copy of Metalfoes Fusion. You don't need more. 2 copies of Painful Decision. I think 2 is probably the optimal number on that. For the Union Hangar, we're playing 3 Union Hangars and 3 Terraforming. You want to see that card as fast as you can. That's what really gets your plays going. And 3 copies of Twin Twisters. Now, I am not playing Pot of Desires in this deck. However, if you wanted to, I would not question it. I don't own Pot of Desires, so I try not to incorporate it into any of my decks, because I don't have the money for them. And since I try and play all my online decks the same way that I do in real life, it doesn't make sense for me to pretend I have Pot of Desires. But if you do have them, I would probably play 2. And I would add in an extra Bunbuku or something like that. And maybe, I don't know what I'd take out necessarily. But, that'd be your guys' call. For the traps, it's a pretty small lineup, and for obvious reasons. 3 copies of Metalfoes Counter, and 1 Solemn Warning. Counter is MVP, and Solemn is Solemn. Do I need to say more about that? For the extra deck, start off with the Fusions. We have 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster. Then we have 1 of each of these 4 Metalfoes Fusion monsters. We have Alkahest, Mithrilium, Adamante, and Orichalc. So the reasons behind all of them, Orichalc, he doesn't come up a whole lot, but if your opponent plays something like face down defense, you can easily end a game by summoning like an Orichalc and just attacking over it. It's great. Mithrilium, it's really like the best one. So I mean that, I don't know if there's not really a whole lot else to say about him. Mithrilium is just really good. Alkahest, it's also just a really good one, I guess. It's a simple way to say it. It stuns, I guess like it kind of stuns your opponent by being able to take their monsters during their turn. And Adamante, the reason I'm playing him is because Alkahest can use the monsters it steals as fusion material monsters. So you can like take one of your opponent's 2,500 or less attack monsters and use it as fusion material for Adamante. You can also make him with one of your ABC monsters. That doesn't come up a whole lot, but it has a couple times. Every once in a while it will, and then you can use Metalfoes Fusion to send an ABC from your field, get its effect off, and then, you know, wombo combo from there. For the Xyzes, so we have 1 copy of Diamond Direwolf, 1 copy of Bujintei Tsukuyomi, 1 copy of Castel, and 1 copy of Gear Gigant X. So Diamond Direwolf and Castel, those are the ones you're making most frequently. Gear Gigant X is a lot better in this build in my opinion, because you don't rely so heavily on back row, and because you can search a ABC part and then pendulum summon it afterwards. Bujintei Tsukuyomi, it's still really good to have, but you definitely don't need more than 1. Since we're not playing like the whole Solemn Brigade and things like that, you don't really need another. You really just need the one-time use for it most games, and if even that. For the rest of the Xyzes, I'm playing the Utopia trio, being 139, 1 S39 Utopia Prime, and 1 S39 Utopia the Lightning. And then for 1 rank 7, because we can make it with 2 Volflames, we have Big Eye, which you don't make a whole lot, but he's in there because when you do make him, you can swing the game so easily. Being able to take an opponent's boss monster is great. You can't take things that are gonna, you know, obviously like force a negate, like Totally Awesome. But it's really good to be able to take things, I don't know, like a Dark Law, number 38, anything along those lines. So, yeah, Big Eye is he's very good. Some other things, if you don't have any of this, or any of these cards, and you want to try and fill the space in, or you just want to make some other cuts, some other options you could try out would be like cutting the Utopia Prime, which although I will admit it's really nice to have that, you could potentially cut it. Some other things you could add in, see, Phantom Knight's a break sword because you can make that with Silverd and Bunbukus. And then you also have the option of Daigusto Emeral, which is really nice to be able to bring back normal monsters and to be able to recycle your stuff. I simply cut it for space, but put it this way, that thing, Daigusto Emeral and Utopia Prime were fighting for that 15th slot for a really, really long time during my test games. It was just so back and forth between the two. But I wound up going with Utopia Prime simply because getting the extra attack boost from Utopia Lightning is really good. And even if you don't get the extra attack boost off of it, it forces your opponent to deal with it outside of attacking. So it's even if you can't use it per se, you can still force your opponent to play around it. So yeah, that is it for the deck profile, guys. As I said, tell me what you guys think about this new format that I'm doing my deck profiles in. This is only going to be for decks that I don't have everything for IRL. I would make this IRL, it's just I don't have the ABC stuff. I have all the Metalfoes things, I just don't have the ABCs, so I figured I'll just leave it to this. Again, tell me what you guys think about it. Shoutouts to Dan from Holland for sending me the deck. If you guys want to do the same thing, feel free. As I said, my email address is in the description box of every video I make. As always, guys, like and comment this video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video.